Welcome back, friends. Storytelling is one of my favourite parts of our rhythm at home. Waldorf education places such importance on stories, not just for entertainment, but as a way to nourish the imagination, connect with nature, and bring a sense of rhythm to the day. It also helps me loosen up and be a little bit silly, which is great for a toddler. One way I love to bring stories alive is by using little props. They don't have to be fancy, even just one or two simple figures can make the story feel alive. Today I'll be sharing a little owl story with you, using a wool felted owl I made, some printable puppets, and even a few nature treasures my toddler and I gathered outside. So in this episode, I'll walk you through why props are so powerful, how to make it and gather your own, and then I'll tell you the story of the little owl in the meadow. In Waldorf storytelling, we usually tell a story by heart without a book. The idea is to let the child build their own inner pictures instead of showing them ready-made ones. This nurtures their imagination and allows them to engage deeply with the words and rhythm of the story. Props are gentle helpers. They're not there to replace the imagination but to support it. A simple wool figure, a silk cloth, or even a stone or a flower can act as a touchstone for the child, giving the story just enough form to root it in their world. And because the props are handmade or found in nature, they carry a warmth and authenticity that children feel immediately. In my new seasonal rhythm for toddlers, I've included printable puppets that you can cut out, paint or colour, and mount on popsicle sticks. These are an easy way to begin. My toddler loves to add watercolor paint to the templates, sometimes with careful brush strokes and sometimes with a big joyful splash of colour. It makes the props even more special when he sees them later in the story. And of course, we also love gathering a few treasures from outside. A pine cone, a feather, a smooth stone, or a twig can all become part of a story. In fact, an owl feels even more magical when it's surrounded by real pieces of the forest or meadow. This is my little felted owl. We call him Rudu. I needle felted it using just a bit of wool, roving and a felting needle. It's simple, soft and not overly detailed, which leaves space for my toddler to imagine it in different ways. If felting isn't something you do, there are lots of other possibilities. Now let me share a simple story with you. Using my felted owl, a painted tree prop, and a pine cone we found outside, this is called The Little Owl in the Meadow. As the golden sun sank low, Little Owl opened his round eyes wide. He stretched his soft wings and blinked at the meadow below. "Hoo, hoo," he called gently. Down in the grasshoppers hopped around. The fireflies flickered their tiny lights. The meadow was alive with sounds and colours of the evening. Little Owl flew to a tall tree. At its base he found a pine cone, resting quietly. "Good evening," said Little Owl. "The night is here. Will you keep me company?" The pine cone said nothing, but it felt solid and kind. Next, Owl flew to a smooth stone lying by the stream. "Good evening, stone. Will you keep me company?" The stone was silent, but it glowed softly in the moonlight. Finally, Little Owl flew high, high up into the moon, smiled down at him. "Good evening, moon," said Little Owl, and the moon shone her silver light all across the meadow, keeping watch with him. When the night was quiet and still, Little Owl tucked his head beneath his wing and fell asleep, dreaming of the friends he had greeted under the stars. That's it! A short and simple story told with rhythm, props, and a little imagination. As you can see, the story is gentle and very simple. That's what children love. Not long, complicated plots, but stories they can enter into fully. Your props don't need to be perfect. A felted owl is beautiful, but a paper cutout on a popsicle stick can still be just as magical. Your child will treasure it, especially if they've helped paint it themselves. Try telling the same story for a few days in a row with the same props. That rhythm builds comfort and allows your child to know what comes next. And sometimes they'll even begin to retell the story themselves or use the props in their play. Remember, the real magic is in your voice, your presence, and the moment of connection. The props are simply companions to the story. So this week in our home, we'll be repeating The Little Owl in the Meadow each evening, with our felted owl, our painted tree, and a few treasures from nature. Maybe you can try it too. Gather one simple prop, tell a short story, and see how your child lights up. If you enjoyed this little glimpse into our storytelling rhythm, I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe. It helps me keep sharing more of what we do in our home. If you'd like some extra support in shaping your own gentle weekly rhythm, I've created a free guide with tips for crafting your flow at home. You can find that through the link below, and it's a lovely way to begin weaving more ease and intention into your week. See you next week, friends.